What if everything you've been told about success was a lie? You've been told to stay motivated, to chase the fire of inspiration, to wait for the right moment when you feel unstoppable. But here's the shocking truth. Motivation will abandon you when you need it the most. It's fleeting, unreliable, and cruelly deceptive. The real path to lasting achievement isn't about feeling good. It's about doing what must be done, even when every fiber of your body screams to stop. In this video, I'll reveal the hidden force that outlives motivation. And once you discover it, nothing will ever hold you back again. 1. The myth of motivation. For decades, people have been told to find their motivation if they want to succeed. Countless self-help books, motivational speeches, and Instagram quotes tell us to wait for that spark, that magical energy that pushes us forward. But here's the truth that few want to admit. Motivation is unreliable. It comes in bursts, often triggered by excitement, novelty, or emotion. But like a sugar rush, it fades quickly, leaving you stranded when the hard work actually begins. Think about New Year's resolutions. Every January, millions of Americans make bold promises. Lose weight, save money, start a business, read more. For the first few days or weeks, motivation is high. The gyms are packed, planners are filled with ambitious goals, and everyone feels unstoppable. Yet by February, most treadmills are empty, the books are collecting dust, and the plans are abandoned. Why? Because motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. Motivation is like the weather. It can be sunny and energizing one day, stormy and heavy the next. If your progress depends on whether you feel like it, you're building your future on quicksand. That's why so many dreams are left unfinished. People wait for motivation to return instead of building something stronger, discipline. The myth of motivation is dangerous because it gives us an excuse. It whispers, you'll start when you're ready, or you'll work hard when you feel inspired. But waiting for inspiration is like waiting for lightning to strike in the same spot twice. You can't control it, and it may never come. The people who achieve extraordinary things, athletes, entrepreneurs, writers, innovators, aren't superhuman because they wake up every day bursting with motivation. They succeed because they rely on discipline, a steady force that doesn't depend on moods. Discipline says, I'll show up no matter how I feel. And that changes everything. Number 2, discipline, the silent power behind success. Discipline doesn't shout, it doesn't give you goosebumps or make your heart race like a motivational speech. It's quiet, steady, almost invisible, but it is the foundation of every lasting achievement in human history. From Olympic champions to successful entrepreneurs, discipline, not motivation, is what carries them through the grind. Think of discipline as the muscle of the mind. You strengthen it through consistent use, through repetition, through choosing to act even when every part of you wants to quit. At first, it feels heavy, like lifting weights for the first time. But over time, it grows stronger, and the things that once felt impossible become part of your normal routine. The beauty of discipline is that it doesn't require inspiration. It requires decision. When you wake up at 6 a.m. to exercise, even though you're tired, you're choosing discipline. When you cook a healthy meal instead of ordering fast food, you're practicing discipline. When you put your phone away and focus on your work, even though scrolling Instagram is tempting, that's discipline in action. What separates high achievers from the average person isn't luck, talent, or even intelligence. It's their ability to stay disciplined when the initial excitement wears off. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you moving. Discipline also builds confidence. Each time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you prove that you are trustworthy, that your word matters. This self-respect becomes fuel for bigger challenges. While others are waiting for the right time or the right feeling, disciplined people are quietly moving forward, one step at a time, and eventually, they're miles ahead. If motivation is the spark, discipline is the engine. It doesn't matter how often you feel inspired. What matters is whether you keep moving forward on the days when you don't. 3. Daily habits that build discipline. Discipline isn't something you either have or don't have. It's something you build. And the most powerful way to build it is through small daily habits. These habits may look ordinary, even boring, but they create an extraordinary life when repeated consistently. Start with the morning. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Waking up on time, making your bed, or even drinking a glass of water may seem insignificant, but these small wins train your brain to follow through. They remind you that you are in control, not your mood. Another powerful habit is scheduling. Successful people don't rely on memory or willpower. They build systems. They use calendars, reminders, and routines to eliminate decision fatigue. By deciding in advance when you'll work, exercise, or rest, you remove the temptation of "I'll do it later." Later usually never comes. Tracking progress is another discipline builder. Whether it's a journal, an app, or a simple checklist, seeing your growth keeps you accountable. It's not just about reaching a goal, it's about honoring the process. Every box you check, every streak you continue, strengthens your sense of discipline. Don't underestimate the power of small, repeatable actions. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't seem like much, but in a year, it's over 3,600 pages, a dozen books. Saving $5 a day feels tiny, but over time it grows into financial security. These daily habits may not feel heroic, but they create the quiet discipline that transforms lives. Discipline thrives when the ordinary becomes sacred. It's not about dramatic changes or heroic bursts of effort, it's about showing up consistently in the small things. Because in the end, the small things aren't small, they're everything. 4. Turning discipline into a lifestyle. Discipline isn't just about isolated actions, it's about identity. When you stop seeing discipline as something you do and start seeing it as part of who you are, that's when it sticks. This transformation happens when your habits align with your values and your choices become an extension of your character. Think about a runner. At first, running is hard, and it requires effort to force yourself onto the track. But after months or years, it becomes part of who you are. You're not someone who runs, you're a runner. The discipline no longer feels forced because it's tied to your identity. The same applies to any area of life. If you want to be healthy, don't just discipline yourself to eat better. See yourself as a healthy person. If you want to build wealth, don't just force yourself to save. See yourself as someone who values financial freedom. When discipline merges with identity, it becomes natural, automatic, and even joyful. Making discipline a lifestyle also means embracing structure. Many people fear routines because they think they'll feel restricted. But in reality, structure creates freedom. When you discipline your time, energy, and focus, you gain more control over your life, not less. Instead of being a slave to impulse, you become the architect of your future. And perhaps the most beautiful thing about discipline as a lifestyle is that it compounds. What feels like sacrifice today becomes strength tomorrow. Every workout, every book read, every dollar saved builds momentum. Over years, the effects multiply, creating a life that feels abundant, purposeful, and free. 5. Discipline and emotional resilience. Discipline isn't just about productivity, it's about resilience. Life will test you. There will be setbacks, losses, failures, and days when nothing goes according to plan. Motivation crumbles under pressure, but discipline gives you the strength to endure. When you practice discipline daily, you train your mind to handle discomfort. You learn that pain, stress, and frustration are not signals to quit, they're opportunities to grow. A disciplined person doesn't avoid hard times, they face them with courage. Consider athletes. They don't stop training when their bodies ache. They push through because they know growth lives on the other side of discomfort. Entrepreneurs don't quit when they face rejection. They keep going because they're disciplined to see beyond the short-term pain. Discipline builds emotional toughness by reminding you that feelings are not commands. Just because you feel tired doesn't mean you can't move forward. Just because you feel afraid doesn't mean you can't act. Discipline teaches you that emotions are temporary, but your choices shape your future. Resilience is not about being unshakable. It's about bouncing back stronger. And discipline is the springboard. With it, you don't crumble when life hits hard. You rise. 6. The long-term rewards of choosing discipline. Discipline may feel hard in the moment, but its rewards are priceless. It builds a life of freedom, stability, and fulfillment. While others are stuck in cycles of starting and quitting, disciplined people are building legacies. The long-term rewards of discipline show up in every area. In health, It's the strong body that comes from years of consistent workouts and healthy choices. In finances, it's the wealth built from decades of steady saving and investing. In relationships, it's the trust and intimacy created by showing up consistently for the people you love. In careers, it's the mastery and respect earned through years of disciplined learning and effort. Discipline isn't glamorous, but it creates results that last a lifetime. It's the invisible thread that weaves success together. The marathon runner who crosses the finish line, the author who publishes their 10th book, the entrepreneur who builds a lasting company, they all share one thing: the choice of discipline over motivation. The greatest gift of discipline is freedom. Freedom from the roller coaster of moods, from the trap of procrastination, from the disappointment of unfinished goals. With discipline, you are no longer at the mercy of how you feel. You are guided by who you want to become. And that is the real key to success. Not waiting for motivation, not chasing inspiration, but choosing every day to act with discipline. Because motivation will get you started, but discipline will take you to the finish line.